Howdy, folks. I'm Playful Pikachu, pleasantly playing with Pokemon pals. Ah! Ah! Play! Electrocution!
I'm Amber, and please hand me back Litwick. That is not how you handle them. Oh, my poor little Litwick being mishandled.
I was playing with them.
I should not have trusted you with a Pokemon. I will do better next time.
And folks, we have a live stream coming up on Friday. For more information, please see the end of the video. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk? I pranked a colleague, and I think that she's overreacting. This has been bothering me all afternoon. My friends told me to try posting the situation here for an unbiased opinion. I have been at my current job for about 7 months now, and I didn't meet this coworker, Jill, until about 4 months because she was out on maternity leave. I have never really liked her. She talks a lot and is always asking personal questions. I think that she likes me, but she's married with a kid, so it's a hard no for me. She's finally got the hint about 2 months ago and has left me alone besides work duties, which she still nags about, but whatever. The office apparently has a tradition of doing fun pranks during October for Halloween, like wrapping a cubicle in plastic wrap, hiding candy in odd places, a plastic skeleton that gets moved around each day, just funny, harmless stuff like that. I decided to prank Jill. I went and got a bunch of those fake spider webs and got some plastic spiders, and I also got one of those large spiders with repositional legs, and I put it in her chair and made it look like it was working. I got in early today to get it all set up before anyone else came in, then went to a break room and hang out until start time. So she finally comes in and I can hear her scream from all the way down in the break room. I go over there to see her reaction, except that she's not there anymore, and two of our colleagues are taking down the webs and spiders from her cubicle. They demand to know if I'm the one who put them up. Then they start yelling at me once I say that I did. They tell me that it was rude and uncalled for because Jill has arachnophobia and had to be taken to the bathroom to calm down. Okay, but how was I supposed to know that she was scared of spiders? Plus, it's just plastic spiders. Nothing to cry over. I told them that I would apologize to Jill to get them to calm down and help them clean the rest of it up. I didn't see Jill again until lunch, which is weird because her cubicle is next to mine. I caught her in the break room and I apologized for scaring her with my prank. And she just sort of shrugged my apology off, which just ticked me off. This is where I might be the jerk. I told her to grow a pair and not be so sensitive next time a little spider came her way. She just gave me a weird look and told me that she has and wouldn't recommend it. Like, what is that supposed to mean? Anyways, I tried to go back to my lunch, but my boss called me into the office and suggested that I take the rest of the day off. Guys, she went to HR over this stupid, silly prank. So now I'm sitting at home worried about my job. I know that I shouldn't have told her to stop being sensitive that way, but she's definitely overreacting by taking something so little to HR. Am I the jerk or is she? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're the jerk here. I mean, first of all, what was the motive for this? Like, pranks are usually done between friends, ideally, whereas OP clearly dislikes this person. So it's clear whatever he was trying to go for was trying to be hurtful.
Yeah.
And then secondly, for his reaction, like, she was deeply traumatized by this, and if he didn't know she was arachnophobic, okay, but then to be like, well, they're just plastic spiders, you need to get over it, like, that's not how phobias work.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand OP not knowing, right? And that's understandable, but they also needed to be sincerely apologetic here and not just kind of brush this off and not blame their victim for their reaction, right? Now, what do you think of his whole, I think that she's into me, but I'm married, or but she's married thing?
I mean, I would be surprised if the postpartum mom had the energy to be chasing him. And there's unfortunately, a lot of guys who, if you happen to be nice and polite to them, they assume that it's an advance.
Yeah.
Now, obviously not everyone, but I've seen this happen before to people, and you hear about it all the time where, if you're even just reasonably polite, they're like, oh, clearly this person is into me. I'm going to take this as my cue.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking as well. It really feels like he is stretching his imagination here, right? She is being a nice, pleasant person who's trying to be a good coworker and learn about him and talk about his personal life so that she can be friends with him. And he's taking it as advances, which, I think is a very odd take on his part.
Yeah, like I would need some examples from him about this behavior to really judge it as her coming on to him. Because again, too often that's not the case. And I really wish people would learn that if someone is being friendly to you, that does not automatically mean they're hitting on you.
Exactly. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say about OP. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment OP's earned. You're the jerk, the villain of your own story.
He is the villain of his own story. He's given himself the best light, and he's still the villain.
Yeah, thank you, Wheel, for your opinion here. And Mobile Following 198 says, you're the jerk. You would be not the jerk if it was just from the prank, if you didn't know that she was scared of spiders, since your office already has a precedent of pranking each other for Halloween, but your comments here were entirely unhinged. She didn't go to HR because of the prank. She went to HR over your insensitive and unprofessional comments. You also made several of those in describing her early in the story as well. A coworker can't nag you, but they can pressure you into doing work because you're a bad coworker. I also have serious doubts that you didn't know about her fear of spiders either. Edit ad, I just realized in the timeline, this means that the coworker was still likely postpartum, or at least only a few months out with an infant when you thought that she was trying to get with you. The chances of her actually trying to hit on you during that time are basically zero. She's got bigger things on her mind than trying to hit on her coworker who seemingly acts like a jerk to her. And OP replies, okay, but she was always asking me about my weekends, what I do outside of work, telling me when there are snacks in the lunchroom, stuff like that. How was I supposed to interpret that?
As being friendly and polite, asking about your weekend, telling you there's snacks,
that means that someone wants to jump their bones.
I would never, if someone was like, oh, hey, there are snacks, I'd just be like, cool. Thanks for telling me. It would never occur to me that this person's hitting on me.
Yeah, that would be the worst way of hitting on someone ever. How's your weekend? Oh, there are snacks. I feel like I'm being hit on here.
What is that? And that's the problem, is that, it's really hard when you have people who just think if you so much as say, hi, how's your weekend, you're hitting on them.
Yeah, I think that this person is way too into themselves. And Happy Hippo 22121 says, but you said in your other comment that you felt left out. So this nice lady tried to include you, and you just dumped on her and called her nosy, and then to do this to her. Honestly, you deserve to be fired. And OP replies, because others in the office started leaving me out of things, like grabbing lunch together or happy hours on Friday. I was trying to be part of the team again. So it sounds like OP probably has a long sordid history of being kind of an unpleasant person to be around.
Yeah, and then when someone dares to try and include him, he's like, oh, how terrible, she's hitting on me.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Crying When My Boyfriend Let His Best Friend's Wife Alter the Dish That I Made for Dinner? Throwaway account. My boyfriend is a 28-year-old male and I'm a 22-year-old female, and we met at work 2 years ago. Technically, I was working part-time during undergrad and he was a customer, but after a couple of months, we started going out. I really love this man and nothing has happened on this scale before, so I'm very confused about it. My boyfriend has a very tight-knit group of friends. I'm well acquainted with them and their girlfriends. One of them, Dave, is just married to Ellie. Ellie is an excellent cook and often hosts dinners, and everyone brings a dessert to those dinners. I am the youngest in the group, so most times they brush off my request for contributing or bringing a dessert. However, the last time I asked Dave and Ellie if they wanted anything extra like wine or a sweet dish for dinner, they said that I could bring one of those sweet dishes that I make for my boyfriend. I'm Indian, and even though I can't cook as well as my mom, and I'm in a different country for studies, I called up my mom and had her teach me properly how to make a specific Bengali sweet which is my favorite. I've had my friends taste it and they said it was great. My boyfriend ate some and said it was excellent. Except last night, I greeted Ellie and kept the dish in the kitchen. When the food was brought out and my boyfriend told everyone I made it, I saw that someone had added cinnamon powder to the sweet. You never add cinnamons to powder to this. The dessert tasted like cinnamon and felt horrible. Though everyone said thank you and that it was good, I think my face gave it away and my boyfriend took me aside to say that Ellie had told him that my sweet looked too white and thought that the cinnamon might bring out some color. I don't know, I just felt awful and started to tear up. My boyfriend defended Ellie and said that his friends already think that I'm a child and not make a big deal out of this and will talk about it. I told him that Ellie asked him first, couldn't he have told her not to add cinnamon to the sweet? He told me that he didn't think that it was a big deal and asked me to drop the topic on the way home. I didn't text him goodnight, and this morning he said that he was sorry and said that my crying made him feel like an awful person. I don't know, now I think I overreacted. Am I a jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, and I'd say ditch the boyfriend. He and his friends are not being inclusive and accommodating, and I have a feeling this was deliberate sabotage. Like, if you are an accomplished cook, you don't just add things for the color. Like, it doesn't matter if the food is pale.
Yeah.
Clearly, she was trying to sabotage Opie's food.
Well, I think that's actually an important point here, right? Because adding cinnamon is a very powerful flavor. And if a dish isn't designed to use cinnamon, then it can really overpower a dish, right? Now, certainly there are some flavor combinations that really work well with cinnamon, and it's a great spice on its own, but to add it to an unknown dish in unknown quantities is, I think, a really amateur move if you're a cook, right?
Yeah. You know, and like not even trying it, just being like, oh, it looks like it needs more color. Let me throw cinnamon all over it.
So I don't think, like you said, that this was a innocent little mistake. It really feels more like she just wanted to make sure that she wasn't one-upped by someone else cooking, because Ellie's an accomplished cook, so maybe she felt threatened by OP and her cooked dish. So I really have a hard time giving Ellie the benefit of the doubt here. And as for Opie's boyfriend, what do you think about the comment when he's like, well, everyone thinks you're a child?
I mean, first of all, I think that it's a sign that Opie shouldn't be with him. I mean, she's 22 years old. Like, yeah, she's younger than them by the better part of a decade. If they're going to be, like, immature and be like, oh, she's a child, like, this isn't a group of people to hang out with.
Well, I mean, he's 28, so 6 years, right?
6 years, yeah.
And I don't know how old Ellie is. Like, maybe they're in their 30s. But I don't know. I was assuming that they were close to the boyfriend's age.
Yeah,
right?
I think they're all in their late 20s.
So I don't think that I've ever treated someone like in their 20s like a child like this, right? I don't think that's appropriate. I view even, 18-year-olds as adults. I mean, I know that some people won't always agree with me on that point here, but I think that they need to, that's when you should start treating people as adults. But certainly someone who's 22 years old, they're in grad school, right? They said they were in grad school.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but they've at least graduated college at this point in time, likely. And I think that they should be being treated like an adult. They're not some 16-year-old who's running around here. They're dating one of their friends. They need to be respectful of OP.
Well, it sounds like they just want to belittle and dismiss her because she's younger than them. And maybe she does have immature behaviors, who knows? But being upset because someone maliciously sabotages your dish is not a sign of childishness.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Giving My Ex's Girlfriend, Affair Partner, My Recipes? This sounds petty, but I think that I'm not in the wrong here. I'm a 29-year-old female, and I dated Joe, a 30-year-old male, for 4 years from age 19 to 22. He cheated on me with Amy, a 29-year-old female, who was a friend of mine in college. I found out when she showed up at our place disheveled and asked for Joe to tell him that she was pregnant. Stuff went down from there, and I left our friend group and kicked them out. I am now married to the love of my life, Max, a 33-year-old male. When I was seeing Joe, we were very close to his mom, and we would cook together during holidays. I'd make all sorts of dishes and desserts from my home country that they liked, and I loved baking. I learned how to make certain European desserts and used my knowledge to make them better. A couple months ago, I got an email from Amy. Hey girl, long time no see. I hope you're doing well. I talked to Joe's mom, and she said that you got married a couple of years ago. Congratulations. Listen, I know we had some bad history, but since a lot of time went by and we both moved on, I thought maybe we could get in contact with each other again. Actually, I've always loved your cooking, and I think it's then she lists 3 dishes and a dessert. I would love it if you were to share the recipe for that. Good things need to be shared, right? I hope to hear from you. I don't recall ever making that dessert from her since I only made it once a year and for family only. I remember Joe loved it and the 3 other dishes too, one of it being his mom's favorite as well. I had a feeling that she was asking to make it for them. I felt petty and arrogant at that time and I didn't want to share it. I love sharing everything and anything about food, but not with a foul person like that, and one that doesn't even know my culture in that way. I replied saying that I'm not going to give the recipe since it's a family recipe and it's very technical and I'm not going to spend the time writing down the instructions. It's very hard to make. The ingredients are hard to get in the US. I get mine when relatives visit or when my mom travels back home. Stuff like fresh pandan, palm sugar, and ginger torch. Her reply, I guess you're still stuck in the past and still in love with Joe if you're not willing to share the recipes then. I don't know how your husband will react to that. My husband and I had a good laugh at that and I never replied. A college friend of mine called me on my birthday some days ago to catch up and shared that Joe and Amy aren't doing so well because Amy thinks that Joe is still hung up on me, so that's why he hasn't popped the question. She said that Joe missed me and my food. When Amy asked for them, it was because Joe had asked her to make it for him because he thinks that she is a bad homemaker and he's bored. They have 2 or 3 kids, I think. Apparently, his mom doesn't like her that much, but is nice enough so she has access to the kids. My friend said that I hear divorce bells. I kind of feel bad now, but I think the problem is bigger than not cooking the dishes that he likes, so I don't think that I am to blame. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk, and the audacity of her coming to OP and being like, hey, I know I ruined things, but like, just give me your recipes so I can win things over with your ex again.
I think that she was coming from a place of desperation, and I can certainly understand her desperate attempt to try to salvage things with Joe. And I'm not justifying that she should. I think that she should have taken time to look this up online and see if she could figure out a way of making these dishes as opposed to bugging OP about them. And I do think that is audacious of her. But I think that she is trying to salvage her relationship, and I can't blame her for making a desperate attempt at that, right?
I can blame her, but I blame her more for the manipulation of being like, well, clearly you must still be hung up on him.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what your husband is going to say about this.
Well, I think that was also coming from a place of frustration, right? And I'm not justifying it. I don't think that she was in the right for saying that, but I think that she was trying to potentially even mine for information, hoping that OP would say something about her not being interested in her husband at all or something like that, because he's clearly hung up on her, right?
Well, my guess was it was more just like manipulation, and like maybe she would like reach out to OP's husband and be like, hey, your girl's still hung up on Joe.
But she hasn't reached out to OP's husband.
Well, she hasn't yet, but...
So, I don't know, maybe you're right. And I think that it's going to be difficult to know her true motivations here, right? It's all rampant speculation at this point in time. And I feel bad that things aren't going well in the relationship, but they made some bad decisions and choices, and they alienated OP. If things had not worked out between Joe and OP, and they had gone their ways amicably, and OP had still been friends with this person, then they could have actually shared recipes and stuff like that. It sounds like OP would have been more than willing. I think that they made a lot of bad decisions and that they shouldn't be contacting OP, but I also understand why she is desperately trying to find a fix for the relationship. But
I don't even, like, honestly, she should just move on and find someone who wants her for her and not as an OP replacement.
oh, I mean, I absolutely agree with you, right? But I think sometimes people get stuck in bad relationships and feel like there isn't any other option, right? And, it doesn't sound like Joe is necessarily the greatest person if he's constantly comparing her to OP, right?
Right, well, he does not sound like a catch at all.
So, yeah, I feel bad for her marginally. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What instrument is found in everyone's bathroom?
I would say a plunger. I mean, I use that as a instrument all the time, and I mean, it's a great instrument. It makes a lot of funny sounds.
Tuba toothpaste.
A tube of toothpaste.
Tuba.
A tuba toothpaste. I mean, that works. That works. And I have Earl Grey. I don't even know I don't think we own a plunger.
We don't.
That's the irony. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy terrific Tuesday, folks. And folks, there's a live stream coming up on Friday. We hope to see you then. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it as though you are a mystic tarot reader.
I see getting these recipes is not in your future.
I see that too. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.